Hello everyone, this is lesson 20, converting measurements, going from a big unit of measurement to a small unit. An example of that is if we have 1 yard, which yard is a big unit of measurement, to feet. Well, we know that in 1 yard we have 3 feet. Now, let's go ahead and start one of the problems. The problems that I'm going to start out with is 4 1/3 yards to feet. Now there are several ways that we can solve this problem. I'm going to use the first method that we all should know. Which is the tape diagram. Well, we know that in 1 yard we have 3 feet. So let's draw what that tape diagram will look like. Well, we have 4 yards, which is 4 holes, which means I'm going to have 4 tape diagrams. And then we have some yards. So I'll draw another tape diagram. So here's 1, 2. That was my first step. Now, my second step, I'm going to go ahead and label all of my tape diagrams. This is 1 yard. This is 1 yard. This is 1 yard. And this is 1 yard. Well, I have 1 foot in each of these pieces. Well, that's already 4 of my holes here. Now I have 1/3 of a yard left. So that means I have 1 here, 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot. But I only have this. I have 1 out of 3. So I have 4 times 3, because 1, 2, 3, and 1. This would be my next step. Will be, so I put it right here. So my second step was labeling. So I'll go ahead and do that right here. That's my second step. So my third step here is I'm going to count every single one that I have, right? I have 4 yards, or 4 1/3 yards. So here I go. 1, 2, 3, that's 1 yard. 4, 5, 6, 2 yards. 7, 8, 9, 3 yards. 10, 11, 12, 4 yards. 13, my 1/3. So I have 13 feet. My answer is 13 feet. That's how you solve this problem using the tape diagram. Now, let's solve it without the tape diagram. Our problem for this will be 2 1/4 of a foot, or feet, sorry. 2 inches. Well, my first step should always be identifying what we're doing. We're going from feet to inches. So in 1 foot, we have 12 inches. Now, my next step is to look at my number. We have 2 1/4. Now, I know I'm going to end up multiplying that by 12. So there's a couple ways I could do this. I'll show you one way. Let's make the improper fraction. To do that, I'm going to break these apart. 2 times 4 is what I'm going to do. 2 times 4, which is going to give me 8, plus 1. So we multiply this one, and then we add right there. So 8 plus the 1, my numerator, will give me 9. So my new number is 9/4. Now, my third step is to multiply my new number, because remember, I created this mixed number into an improper fraction by going 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. So 9/4 times my 12 inches, because I'm going from a big unit to a small unit. So times 12 over 1. Well, I know that 9 times 12 is going to give me I was expecting one answer, 108 over 4. Well, now what we're really doing is we're going to be dividing, because when we have a fraction here such as 108 over a fourth, 108 over a 4, what we're going to do is we're going to tip this. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to get my blue marker. I'm going to tip it. So I'm going to have a 4 like that. Then my 108 is on the inside. Now 4 cannot go into 1, so I'm going to do that right there. 4 can go on into 10 twice to give me 8. Well, 10 minus 8 gives me 2. Bring down my 8. 4 goes into 28 7 times, right? 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24. And 4 times 7 is 28. So now we put in our 7 here. Subtract our 28. 0. So we have 27 as our number, which is going to give us our 27 inches. 27 is our final solution. Now some of you are wondering, well, how do we know that's right? Well, let's quickly just estimate. If 1 foot is 12 inches and I have 2 holes, that means I have 2 times 12, which is going to give me 24. I have a fourth of 12, which will give me 3, because if you divide that 12 by that 4, you get 3. So 12 plus 3 will give me 27 inches. That's one way to do it. And this way involves you turning this number into a mixed number. So this mixed number into an improper fraction. Now, the next way we could do it, let me go ahead and get a new page and a new problem. We are going to do this. 3.5 gallons to quarts. Well, I need to write down my key information, which is first step, 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. Now my second step is I'm going to break my numbers apart here. I have 3 holes and then I have half. Well, I'm going to have 3 times my 4 here, which is going to give me 12. Now I have to multiply this by the 4, which will give me 4 over 2. Now my third step is to continue anything that I need to do here. This number I'm okay with, so I'm going to write this down right here. But this number, 4.5, I'm not okay with. Well, let's go ahead and divide that out. 2 goes into 4 2 times. Yay! So that is 2. So now I'm going to add this number and this new number to give me 14 quarts, because 12 plus 2 is 14. That's another way you could do it. And this way, we broke apart our number here, our 3 and our half. And then we multiplied it by the 4, because we're going from a big unit to a small unit. Let's do one more. We're going to go from 11 feet to yards. Now we can't really break apart the number, so let's write down our key information. 1. Remember, we're going from feet to yards. That's a small unit to a large unit. In 1 foot, how many yards do we have? Well, I know that in 1 yard, I have 3 feet. Well, in 1 foot, I have 1/3 of a yard. So now my next step is to plug in the key information. So I know I have 11 here. So I'm going to have 11 times, is it times 3? No. It's going to be times 1/3, because we're going from feet to yards. So 11 times 1 over 3. Let's turn that into a fraction, 11 over 1. So we have 11 over 3. Now let's go ahead and turn this number into a mixed number, and that'll be our third step. So we have 11 over 3. How many times does 3 go into 11? Well, I know 3 goes to 9 3 times, right? So 3, and then I'm going to have, so from 9, I have 9, 10, 11. I have 2 numbers left, so I'm going to have 2 thirds. And how do we know that we did that right? Well, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11, which will give me back to that. So our answer is 3 2 thirds. Now I'm going to go ahead and expand on this concept of turning this to this by dividing this out. 3 goes into 11 3 times, which will give me 9. And I'm going to have 2. A remainder of 2 is really 3 2 thirds. And that's how we know that we did this correct. Is we can divide it out and find what our remainder is, and then put that over our denominator, which is 3. And that is it for this lesson. That is going from a small unit to a large unit. Our last problem was going from a small unit to a large unit, but our previous problems was going from a big unit to a small unit. I hope this helps, and I'll have another video uploaded pretty soon as well.